into the heart of conversation. My name is Ilana Afrika Bredenkamp and I'm your host. Well, I'm delighted to be here today as we're starting everything new and dive right into the purpose and the definition of retail. But this is not your average podcast, please no. You can't just share this and sit back and relax and chill. We want you to pull closer your virtual chair and engage with us in conversation. Well, today marks the birth of our very new podcast, Talk of the Table. And I have to say, I am pretty excited about what's going to happen in this episode and all the others to follow. Today specifically, I didn't come empty-handed to our virtual table. In fact, I've got a fantastic guest to kick off our very first episode of Talk of the Table. Maxine D'Amico, SPAR Inland Guild Advertising and Promotions Manager. Welcome to the table, Maxine. Virtual applause. Yay. Someone called you a legend the other day because you are. You know, normally I get to see you at our SPAR races or we're on the road somewhere doing a promotion. And today I get to have you around a table. Hey, Maxine.
Hi. Thank you so much for such an awesome introduction. I'm so excited to be here.
Can we first talk about that big title that you have? You know, all I see is creative, instrumental, and thank you so much for creating this Talk of the Table so that we can have conversations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that took me a while to learn the title. It's very long-winded, but in a nutshell, it's really just looking into the core of what makes SPAR and bringing that to life in every sort of campaign, customers' eyes, experience, and touch point. So
there's lots that I want to unpack about Talk of the Table, you know, today when we're launching our very first. But this has been an interesting year for so many people, and perhaps you want to give me an overview of what your year has been like.
It's been so busy. It's been a good year. It's been good. There's been so much change, a lot of pushing boundaries, breaking the mold, stepping outside of the box and being creative. And I think that's what makes it beautiful. In retail, it's not just about products and price. It's a very important part. And it is something that we focus on, but there's also just so much more. And people see that and they experience it. And it's really about bringing that brand closer to their lives and their day-to-day routines.
Talk of the Table is going to be about retailers and so many other people that literally makes our retail world go around. But before we even get to those questions, I'm sure you want to know Maxine a little bit better, right? So here's some quick fire, Maxine. Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
Okay, so married or not?
Married.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
What's your favorite product on the SPAR shelf?
The jelly babies.
Really?
Yes.
I like the Pro Wash. I'm such a nerd. I know. I love the idea of a makeover. So something must go from dirty to clean. So I love the washing powder. Okay, I'm in it for the win. Croissants or cake?
Croissants.
Really?
If they've got chocolate bits in them.
Ah. Which is the last country you traveled to?
Italy.
Okay.
Just a few years ago. It's been a while.
That's good. We have to be at work sometimes.
Yeah.
What has been a highlight for you in retail so far?
That we can really get creative and touch lives. There's other campaigns that are running at the moment, which is all about giving back to the community. It's random acts of kindness and for no reason, just making people smile. And, you know, to be able to be in a position to do that is, you know, it's undescribable. There's no words.
Well, I've seen the exciting movement of that online and on social media. And I must say it brings a smile to my face too. Well, you heard it. We're delighted to have Maxine in our studio as our first guest for our SPAR Talk of the Table. And you know what? We need to start rolling our sleeves up and get into all the questions with our ever-changing world of retail. But through that, we can probably improve things. You know, the magic of this table is that all the magic happens right here.
It does, completely. And I'm excited for that. I'm also getting my sleeves up, rolled up, ready to go. And yeah, please, let's go.
While we're at it, can you provide a brief overview of our mission of Talk of the Table, both the podcast and the retail campaign?
The mission of Talk of the Table is really about it's personal. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You know, different communities, different people come from different walks of life, different values, and you know, offering that kind of value to those different people. And having a platform like this allows that and really brings it to life in store and everywhere else.
How important is this concept? I mean, I think of a table, and we even have it in our home. We have a table in the kitchen that's under a light. and many conversations were had at this table before. And the family that lived in the same house with the same table had the same conversations around this table. I mean, it was the ask of the daughter wanting to get married, discussions around matric exams, and now us as a family are using this table as well to have similar conversations. This table, how do we tie it into our retail experience? And also, why is it important in retail?
I think that's where the idea was born. So like I said, family is so important, and all these conversations, from important decisions to laughter to everything in between, happens there. And that's what we've taken this concept in the background to do. We've sat around tables with retailers to understand what they want to bring to their community and what they want to offer. And we've taken that into our brand strategy and our SPAR strategy and brought that to life. And I think a concept like this, as simple as what it is, the meaning behind it and the thought and the time behind it is really what speaks for itself.
Well, I'm Ilana Afrika Bredenkamp. This is our SPAR Talk at the Table. You probably don't want to miss it. Our first episode starring Maxine D'Amico. You have to say something, Maxine, like I
was waving.
She's waving. No, really, you cannot miss out on our conversations on retail as we literally take our gloves off, roll our sleeves up, and dive into everything retail. You don't want to miss it. What does it feel like to sit at the talk of the table for the first time?
It feels amazing. I'm so excited. I'm honored to be the first guest of this amazing concept. So thank you for having me.
Well, we're diving in head first, and I've mentioned retail before, but, as I'm not coming empty-handed, Maxine, we know you as the SPAR Inland Guild Advertising and Promotions Manager. It's good to sit around this table with you because usually we see each other at a race, or I see how you do amazing things as a change maker and as a woman in this organization. But if we had to talk about retail first and roll up our sleeves and we get into this ever-changing world of retail, what does it mean for you to be at a table like this? Because this is where the magic happens.
I love that. The word magic is exactly what we're all about. And this year and last year have been a lot of hard work in the background to bring these things to life, new concept, things that we haven't done before. So very, very excited. And get ready to roll your sleeves up. I'm ready, and let's go.
Give me a brief overview. I mean, with all of our conversations and even our projects within SPAR, we've always had a mission as to why we do things. And so with Talk at the Table, why a podcast, and also why our retail campaign?
So Talk of the Table really came into play when we were busy working on a brand strategy, actually, for our region. And the insights that came from that were really, really amazing. What we picked up is that we run a lot of national campaigns. And these national campaigns run in every single store. But what makes SPAR very unique is that each store has their unique offerings. And by bringing Talk of the Table to life, we're giving the stores a tool to use to put a table up front at the entrance of a store to invite people in, to tell them why my store, what I'm famous for, whether it be carrot cake, whether it be customer service, and something like this just brings that to life. So we're quite excited. It's offering something unique for the stores to drive to the customers and the communities in some sort of unique way.
So how does the concept of a table tie into retail? I mean, it's quite exciting that our stores can be famous for something. I really enjoyed the carrot cake notion, by the way. That made me hungry.
That's a real thing. There are literally stores who are famous for carrot cake. So how the table ties into retail particularly is when you think of SPAR, what is the core of what makes us SPAR? It's people. And when you think of where these conversations take place, it's family around the table, around the dinner table. And that same sort of concept is what we've tried to bring to life in the stores itself. So it's kind of like, welcome to my store, welcome, you're my family, you're my neighbors, help yourself. We've really worked hard on putting these deals together, these products, the quality, the services, and that's how they're showcasing it to our customers and welcoming them in.
Retail is such an evolving industry, and even though I know the answer to this, because you just said it, it's family and people, I want to ask you why and what that means to you, this evolving, ever-changing industry of retail.
So people evolve and SPAR has to keep up with that. So, and especially in the retail industry, we know that the retail industry is a fast moving, ever changing environment, and especially in marketing and advertising. And that's what we do. You have to be ahead of the curve. You have to keep up, be completely creative. And I think that's what makes retail really, really beautiful. And especially FMCG. I mean, after all, fast moving goods is in the name. It says it for itself, right?
Mm. Are there some things that goes unnoticed? I mean, I'm just thinking about how I enjoy the spa experience, right? Whether it is shopping with my children or actually just taking time out to take my time and experience the shopping experience of choosing for my family and making sure that I can provide for them. But surely there's some aspects that goes unnoticed. What are those aspects that often go unnoticed in retail?
I definitely feel like there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
From a retailer's mind, in the quality, the services, the offerings, the freshness, the baking, the hours, there's so much that happens in the background. From a marketing and an advertising perspective, everything we do is researched. It's insights. It comes down to feelings, emotions, looking at people, real people, and offering solutions for them that makes that work. And yeah, there's just so much hours that puts that all together to bring it to life. So yeah, way more in the back end than what people see. And ultimately, it's customer is queen. So we have to put them at the center of everything we plan and everything we do and bring to life.
I'm enjoying this conversation because it feels like at this table, these conversations will really come to life. In what ways do conversations, ideas, and decisions come to life around a table like this, like in the retail context? I'm just thinking of these kind of interactions or perhaps influence, trends, retail experiences, landscapes, customer behavior.
That's the fun question. So in my industry, that's what we call brainstorming. We love it. It's where all the creative, crazy, weird, wild, wacky ideas come to life. And then we kind of bring them down to realistic and what can work for the retailer, what can work for the brand, what aligns to the brand's core pillars and meanings, as well as what customers need. So yeah, I think there's always real talk that comes from the around a table, and it's definitely exciting because there's so many different opinions. And that's where you have someone that thinks a completely different way with an amazing solution versus someone else with, a completely different solution. And that's where we make the magic tie together and offer something that comes to life.
What role does storytelling play in retail? And I mean, don't even get me started. I love a story and I love a business story. And when I think of our spa retailers and their families, there's always inspiration, right? So that's where I just thrive and I enjoy listening and learning from that. But what role does storytelling play and why is it essential for both our retailers and our customers?
So I think everyone has a story to tell, and how you tell it is completely different and through different people's eyes. And that's where we come in. That's our job, to bring that to life in store. So it's not just about putting it out in media to say to people, this is a campaign that we're running, and telling them about it. It's physically showing them. And then once they walk into the store, it's about them feeling it, to experience it, and taking them on that customer shopping experience in store. So it's really about tying all those things together to bring it to life. And yeah, I think that's the beautiful part about it.
What impact does retail have on our communities? And how important is table talk in our communities and customers' lives?
So I think I mentioned it earlier. I think the part that really talks to that or speaks very closely to that is, each store manager, store owner, and store itself in a specific community talks to completely different things. They understand their people, they understand the community and what they need and the value they need to offer. And by having something as simple as a table at the entrance of a store to talk to those kinds of needs shows that it matters to us and talks directly to those customers and the loyalty in store.
I wanted to talk about trends today, but immediately, I don't know why the word challenge comes up for me. And so a next question that I have for you is, what are some of the upcoming trends and challenges for our retailers if you had to think ahead, in your opinion?
Definitely looking at anything that can help customers with convenience. So convenience 101. We all live such busy lives. People are hustling. There's a lot on the go. And I think anything that can offer convenience, even if it's at a little bit more of a premium price, people are willing to pay that because time, with your family matters. Another emerging trend looks at the offerings of SPAR to You, the likes of the delivery apps. That helps us so much. It helps customers so much. People living busy lives, working, looking after family, being so many different roles. And I think, if we can get ahead of the curve, whoever gets ahead of the curve in retail in terms of that really wins the game.
Well, I think we're winning the game because when you said moms and fast-paced life and even busy women, I just put my hand up, okay? So how can listeners engage with our podcast and become part of the conversation? Talk of the table, Maxine in our chair.
The podcast will be available on certain platforms, Spotify, Apple, so forth. And we really are excited to get people involved. Just engage. It's real talk. So we call it table talk, talk of the table, but it's really real talk. We want people to engage, give us feedback, and also just have a little bit of an insight of what happens in the back end of all the hard work going into what matters to our communities and our customers.
Now, earlier you mentioned that some of our SPAR stores are apparently famous for their carrot cake and lots of other goods. But Maxine is known for her brownie. Did you bring some brownies along with you today?
I brought brownies.
Bought
brownies. I want to say.
Did you make them?
I did not make them.
You see, this is where, okay, so what's your cheat?
So I wish I baked them. I love baking. I'm very passionate about baking, but I'm hustling. I'm making magic happen in the background. Who's got time for baking? We just spoke about convenience 101.
Okay, so tell me more about this product that's on the table, because I do think our quick and easy brownies will make our lives a whole lot easier, because if it says instant dessert mix, I'm in.
So actually, yes, our SPAR brownies, our house brand brownies are very famous. We hear a lot of people talk about them, brag about them. It's their go-to when they've got family gatherings. And that's the part that I love most about it. When people tell us about it, they talk and relate to family. This is an amazing product that we speak about. It's available at most of our SPAR stores. And if not there, I'm hoping if you visit a friend or a family and you have brownies, please ask them if it's our SPAR branded ones, because I'm pretty sure they are. So definitely an awesome product.
Well, now that I have your attention and she is out of the office for a little bit, sweet or savory, what's your favorite?
Sweet.
Store-bought or baking?
Baking, for sure. Love baking. Wish I could do it every day of my life.
What do you bake?
I bake anything I can, but I do love baking cupcakes.
Okay, wait. I love cupcakes. So what's your favorite topping?
Vanilla, believe it or not. I actually love chocolate, but on cupcakes, vanilla, and you've got to use the real vanilla, so vanilla pods.
Okay, that's it. I'm coming to your house. But before I visit you at home for your vanilla pod cupcakes, it is time for an ad break. We'll be back after this.
Don't you just love how SPAR brings value to your table? Grab that offering unique to the community at a SPAR Talk of the Table near you. In the mood for milk tart, some amagwinya, or that special biltong you love? Take your pick from daily savings, exclusive promotions, or perhaps that delectable you wish to treat yourself with. Look out for the Talk of the Table and get exactly what you and your family love. Only available at your nearest SPAR. SPAR, we're for smiles.
Welcome back to our Talk of the Table. Maxine is joining us today. It is really, really good having her in my chair. And it's really good to share a brownie with her. I must tell you, now you have to look for brownies in my teeth. Do I have a clear smile?
No, not quite.
You should not have said that. Okay, well, today's conversation was a good start. I think that here ideas will definitely come about. I hope that decisions will be made. That's a whole lot of fun. When it comes to today's topic and our customers and even launching Talk of the Table, what's the one thing that stands out for you? I'll go first. I mean, for me, conversations solve things. I always say that a conversation doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to come with funfair and balloons and it can just be something where we all disagree or agree. And I find that that's where the best decisions are made.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's at the heart of conversation. It doesn't matter what that conversation is, it's communication. And I think, family, people, community, that's where the beauty lies. So yeah, I think this concept has really been brought to life with exactly that.
I enjoy our retailers, especially when I see how they've started out and where they're now. in the music industry, there's lots of metaphors and songs made about this, starting from the bottom, now you're here, and all kinds of other amazing metaphors. Would you mind if I bring some of those retailers here and chat about some of their favorite moments and also how they started back then?
Please do. I mean, I love those stories. You hear stories of retailers who've been in a store for so many years that they know the entire families. And when a little child was born and aged 2, and now they're married with their own kids and they're still visiting the same stores. There's beautiful stories to come from this. So
I wasn't going to ask you this, but if you had to invite anyone to your table, who would it be?
I would not want to invite one person. I'm all about social community, lots of people. I would invite a few people, someone that's wise, someone that's wild, someone that's wacky, and possibly even wonderful. And if I could wrap that all into one person, potentially Ellen DeGeneres.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I would say Jennifer Lopez, but I would just watch her sing. And this is all about talking. So, and I think it's also just because it ties into people who heavily, place importance on community and give back. So it could be either an Oprah or an Ellen, but people that just move and touch people's lives.
This table creates conversation, and there are so many stories untold that we want to share with the world, not just on this podcast, but beyond. Surely you have an example to share with us to get excited about.
So when we launched this concept, I said to the retailers, please guys, keep us updated, send us photos, messages on how it's going and how you've interpreted the brief, to bring this thing to life. And we were inundated with photos, and especially around Heritage Day, which was absolutely beautiful. So we had, staff standing around the table in, traditional outfits, welcoming people into the stores. We had photos around that. And we had stores that were putting on, sort of the meat and the charcoal and the Cokes and the drinks and everything that brings family together around Heritage Day. And that was just one of the examples. We have many, many of them. But when you see it brought to life and in action, it's really taken off and people are buying into the idea. Customers, staff, even the retailers themselves at store level. So it's been amazing to see the impact.
As a customer, there's an experience that I have when I come into store and I shop. But SPAR is not just about a shopping experience. There's so much that happens internal in our family for me as a customer of what I experience and so much that's happening out there. How do you see it? I mean, what is it like for you who get to work with an amazing brand every single day?
It's so true what they say when they say it starts internally. So, a lot of the campaigns that we launch that talk to community and family and people, people being at the core of everything we do, it starts internally too. So when I say that, I mean, all the guys working in the back end, we are family. We spend so many hours together coming up with ideas that talk to those values. And it's the same in store. So when you walk into a store, you talk to retailers who have had staff that they've, put through schooling, staff that have been with the store for so many years. And I think those values talk there too. So it's really about that golden thread where the values you can actually physically see from start to end, in the back end of where things happen to where the customer experiences and everything in between is brought to life.
When we get out there with some of our external campaigns, for instance, #4Smile, I mean, I'm smiling just thinking about it. How many other projects or campaigns do we have like that sometimes goes unseen? Because, I mean, there's a lot out there where you're making and creating change.
I think that's something that not many people know about, but every campaign that we do, just about every campaign, is linked to some sort of charity drive or donation or give back to the community. I mean, you talk about the #Smile campaign. I mean, in the first week of launching that, we reached almost 54 million people. And that's amazing. There were, and when you think of things like our SPAR ladies race, that Smile Foundation, there's donations that go to that. And, those are just some of them. There's so many, and I think that's what makes SPAR such a beautiful and unique brand.
If you had a trolley and you could fill
like a mini trolley, like the kiddie ones with a flag.
No, Maxine, we're a little bit taller than that.
Okay, all right.
If you had a trolley and you could fill it up with 5 of your favorite items on shelf, what would it be?
Sure, I would I think I'd be spontaneous. I think I'd run down an aisle and whatever caught my attention, I'd put it in, and I wouldn't do it for me. I would give it away.
Put me in the bakery section or in fresh line.
Bakery section, definitely croissants with chocolate bits. I'm going to say it again, with chocolate bits. Freshly baked bread rolls, like hot and steamy.
How do you eat your bread rolls though?
If I eat them like that, I'm going to open the bread and I'm going to take the inside out and I'm going to take that and eat that.
Do the same.
When no one's looking though.
No, I don't mind if people look.
No, I love it. I love it. That's got to be the best. And the smell of freshly baked bread is just something else.
Well, you do all of that, and I'm glad I had a Maxine, and it's been wonderful chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. Well, that is it for our very first Talk of the Table. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe and make sure your friends are invited to this table by sharing this episode. My name is Ilana Afrika Breedenkamp. Sure, now for a brownie. I mean,
For a few.
Exactly. Thanks, guys.